Okay, let's just jump right in with a wild thought. What if the apps on your phone weren't just tools, but were actually your boss? That's what we're digging into today. This really powerful idea that every single digital platform is, by its very design, acting like a leader. So let's make this personal right off the bat. I want you to think about the main app you use for your work. Maybe you're a driver, a creative, a freelancer, whatever it is. Now ask yourself this question honestly. Is that app a good boss? Because here's the thing. Every digital platform is so much more than just code and infrastructure, right? It's a power system. And yeah, whether the people who built it meant for it to or not, that platform is making leadership decisions. And those decisions, they have a direct impact on your brain, on your actual nervous system. Okay, so to really get our heads around this dynamic, we need a new way of looking at it, a new lens, if you will. One that helps us see the platform's hidden power and, crucially, its psychological footprint. And that new lens, it's called trauma-informed leadership. Now hold on, don't let that word trauma throw you off. We're not just talking about big, major crises here. It's really just an approach that recognizes how any environment, and that absolutely includes a digital one, can either dial up our stress or, create a sense of psychological safety. It's a super powerful way to think about leadership, whether that leader is a human or an app. This whole approach is built on 5 key pillars. We've got safety, transparency, choice, collaboration, and empowerment. Think of these as our scorecard. We're going to use them to see how today's platforms are actually doing as leaders. So what happens when these ideas are just ignored? Well, the platform's design can end up creating this constant, low-grade state of stress. The source material for this explainer actually has a name for these. It calls them digital microtraumas. Okay, let's take a big one, algorithmic opacity. You know that black box feeling, right? It's when you have absolutely no clue how you're getting matched with jobs, or why your content is being ranked a certain way, or get this, how your performance is even being measured in the first place. And believe it or not, this has a direct biological consequence. For our brains, for our nervous systems, constant uncertainty is basically a threat signal. It triggers what's called hypervigilance. That feeling of being constantly on edge, always scanning for what might go wrong. The source even calls this a repeated, unpredictable loss. And that really hits home, doesn't it? All right, then there's this big one, power asymmetry. This is what happens when decisions just come down from on high, without any discussion, when crucial information is kept from you, or when, the fee structure suddenly changes and you had absolutely zero say in it. And this feeling, wow, it's captured so perfectly in a quote from the source material. Just listen to this. Whatever I do, the algorithm decides. It's that gut punch feeling that your own effort just doesn't matter because some invisible system is holding all the cards. And this leads to a really specific psychological state. It's called learned helplessness. Basically, when you feel over and over again like you have no control over what happens, you eventually, you just stop trying. The platform, which should be empowering you, is actually teaching you to be passive. Think about that. And finally, let's talk about public ratings and rankings. You know the deal, the stars, the scores, the little badges. On the surface, it all looks like simple, helpful feedback. But the psychological hit? It runs way, way deeper. See, when your entire professional worth is tied to a number that everyone can see, every little dip isn't just feedback. Your brain experiences it as an identity threat. It feels like a public announcement that your value just went down. And that is incredibly stressful. Okay, so we've laid out a lot of the problems here. It might sound a bit grim, but what's the alternative? Let's pivot to something a bit more hopeful. How we can actually design these systems differently. How we can put human dignity right at the center of it all. So really, it comes down to a choice. Platforms can build one of 2 worlds. Over here on the left, you've got a shame culture, all driven by rankings and constant competition. And on the right, you have a dignity culture, which is built on learning together and sharing responsibility. The huge difference here is shifting from this frantic scramble for visibility to building an actual community of peers. And this table here, it really breaks down what that choice looks like in the real world. Just look at this shift. Instead of public, competitive feedback, it becomes private and developmental. Instead of top-down, opaque decisions, they become transparent and participatory. The whole goal, the entire point, is to take the user's experience from being unpredictable and impersonal and make it stable, predictable, and based on actual, real dialogue. So what's the end game here? What's the result? Well, a trauma-informed platform is one that actively works to cut down on uncertainty. It's all about increasing transparency and respecting who you are as a professional. It avoids creating those unhealthy dependency dynamics, and instead, it focuses on building a stable, regulated environment, a place where people can actually do their best work. Imagine that. And ultimately, this brings us right back to the core choice. Because at the end of the day, this isn't really a conversation about technology. It's a conversation about leadership. It's about the conscious design choices that are being made every single day. And look, it's really important to get this straight. The goal here isn't to just slap a good or bad label on platforms. That's way too simple. It misses the point. The real question is so much deeper. It's this: what kind of psychological environment are these platforms choosing to create? Because every single feature, every algorithm, every little communication policy, it's a choice. And it's a choice that directly shapes the mental and emotional well-being of every single person using it. So this is the challenge, really, for all of us. The next time you use a platform, or hey, maybe even if you're building one, ask these questions. Does this design help regulate someone's nervous system, or does it just hyperstimulate it? Does it create a sense of agency, or does it foster dependency? Because that, right there, that's the true measure of a platform's leadership.